Steam rose from the sink as Anna scrubbed another steel tray, her hands raw and trembling. The cafeteria had gone quiet, save for the distant hum of the ocean and the soft clatter of plates. To most, she was just a cleaner, invisible, replaceable, forgotten. But when the Navy SEAL commander stepped into the mess hall that evening, eyes scanning the room, he stopped at her. "You," he said, voice low but certain. "I never thought I'd see you again." Every soldier turned. Anna froze, soap dripping from her fingers. The commander's next words silenced the entire room. "She's not a cleaner," he said. "She's a legend." Before I tell you what happened next, tell me in the comments where you were watching from. I love knowing who is listening. 3 years earlier, Anna Velasquez had vanished from the world. No one knew where she'd gone or why. Once, she had been a field operative, a medic in covert rescue missions across hostile territories. She'd saved dozens, sometimes at the cost of her own safety. But the last mission broke her. A bombing, a wrong call, a friend lost in the fire. After that, she disappeared, trading battlefields for soap water, medals for anonymity. To the men around her now, she was just Miss Anna, the quiet woman who worked the morning shifts, humming old Spanish lullabies to herself. She never spoke of her past, never looked anyone in the eye for too long. But Commander Blake had recognized her instantly. The silence in the hall thickened. Someone whispered, "Legend? Her?" Anna's eyes darted to the door, every instinct screaming to run. But Blake stepped closer. His presence was like a storm, barely held back. "You saved my team in Kunar Province," he said quietly. "You dragged 2 wounded SEALs across 3 miles of desert while bleeding yourself. We thought you were dead." Her hands trembled. "I'm not that person anymore," she whispered. He studied her face, the lines of exhaustion, the quiet grief in her eyes. "Maybe not. But we need her again." That night, she sat in her small cabin by the docks, staring at her reflection in the cracked mirror. The woman looking back wasn't the medic who once stitched up men under mortar fire. She was tired, fragile. But beneath the fatigue, something still flickered. Duty, buried under guilt. The commander's words echoed in her mind. We need her again. She'd sworn never to return, never to risk another life. But as she looked out at the moonlight on the water, she remembered the last promise she'd made to her fallen teammate. "If someone calls for help," she had said, "I'll answer, no matter what it costs." And someone was calling again. By dawn, she was on the transport ship, heading toward a coastal base in crisis. A training exercise had gone wrong. An explosion in the underwater facility left 3 divers trapped with oxygen running low. Rescue gear had malfunctioned. No one on site had the medical clearance or technical knowledge to reach them. No one except her. When she arrived, the crew stared in disbelief. "The dish lady?" one whispered, but she ignored them, already suiting up. Blake met her at the hatch. "You don't have to do this," he said. She looked him in the eye. "I already did nothing once. I won't do it again." The sea swallowed her whole as she descended into the dark. Cold, suffocating silence pressed against her suit. The faint beeping of her oxygen monitor kept rhythm with her heartbeat. She followed the light trail until she saw it, the twisted remains of the sub-training module. Inside, the trapped divers pounded weakly against the window, eyes wide with fear. Anna steadied her breathing, recalling every protocol, every drill. Her hands moved fast, securing the pressure locks, rerouting air. But the cables were jammed. Time was running out. She thought of Marcus, her fallen teammate. He'd once told her, "Real courage isn't about surviving the mission. It's about facing the part of you that wants to give up." She whispered through her mask, "I'm still here, Marcus." Then, with one final push, she freed the hatch. The divers burst out, gasping. She guided them upward, one by one, until her oxygen alarm blared red. When the rescue boat broke the surface, the crew erupted in cheers. Anna was the last to climb aboard, collapsing onto the deck, her mask fogged with salt water and tears. The commander knelt beside her. "You did it again," he said softly. She shook her head. "We did it." And in that moment, surrounded by young recruits who had once dismissed her, she felt something she hadn't in years. Peace. Not because she was a hero, but because she had finally forgiven herself. Days later, back in the cafeteria, the same soldiers who once ignored her now stood to greet her when she entered. Some nodded respectfully, others simply smiled. And above the noise of chatter, one rookie whispered, almost in awe, "That's her, the woman who saved them." She only smiled faintly, picking up her dishcloth again. "I was just doing my job." But the commander, standing nearby, knew better. Because legends don't vanish, they hide, they heal, and when the world needs them, they rise again. Because courage doesn't fade, it waits, buried beneath the ordinary, until someone remembers who they are. And as the sunlight reflected off the sink, Anna washed another tray. Quietly, humbly, and with the hands of a legend. If this story touched you, leave a like, subscribe, and share it with someone who believes real heroes don't wear capes, they wear scars. And tell us below, where are you watching from today? Whispered Words, where every mission tells a human story.